We're good.
Yeah?
Very good.
Welcome to In Frame Out's Year in Film, where we take stock of 12 months of spectacular cinema and unfortunate rubbish. I didn't get to see everything I wanted to see in time, I'm so sorry Memoria, and I'm also not including documentaries this year, I'm so sorry Fire of Love. I've got my favourite albums, my go-to channels, and most enjoyed TV shows over the last 12 months, so without further ado, here are entries 5 through 1 of our best films of 2022. For just $1 a month, you can keep In Frame Out going through 2023 and beyond. To find out more, check out the link in the description below. Given the lofty promise of its title, I'm happy to report that Everything, Everywhere, All at Once is a startlingly accurate assessment of what this reality-hopping adventure has to offer. A tightrope juggling act of shifting styles and tonal shuffles that somehow never loses sight of its emotional horizon, there's a deft balance to all this ballistic, bonkers energy that could so easily have imploded into an indulgent mess. Bolt from the blue bouts of absurdist nonsense morph into marvellous character beats. Extravagantly edited cacophonies sparkle and collide with kindly felt moments of Wong Kar-wai worship. At times, it can feel a bit much. An exhausting montage of possibilities and potential that are just as likely to overwhelm as impress, and I absolutely get why some folks find the whole thing a bit too capital R random. But for me, it all just snapped into place. The aesthetic ambition, pitch-bending performances, dafter than daft jokes, and tear-jerking dropkicks, each landing with an impact that left me invigorated and ultimately in a state of awe. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once is a hard-fought, well-earned highlight reel of inventive action, directorial versatility, and humongous heart.
The last capitalist we hang will be the one who sold us the rope, Karl Marx.
Okay.
With Triangle of Sadness, Ruben Östlund has officially followed on from Force Majeure and The Square to round out what I like to call the worst dinner of your goddamn life trilogy. So on the nose, it slammed its fist clean through my face. This is a satire that opts for the shotgun over the scalpel, making a pulpy mess of its primary targets and peppering those on the periphery with its class-conscious barbs and drown-the-rich sentiments, none of which is a fault, but rather a feature of a film that opts against winking coyness, instead blaring its crackling message from the captain's station as the ship goes down in a swirl of vomit. For all its Marxist murmurings and vacuous work-shy one-percenters, this isn't some dry lecture on the means of production or cavernous wage gaps. It's a shambolic comedy, complete with drunken diatribes, whistling sexcapades, the most suffocatingly funny sequence of the year, and a needle drop so exquisite it transforms an anti-capitalistic anthem into a seasick punchline. It could do with a trim to pull back the excessive runtime and shore up the final act, but for a movie so moored in excess and extravagance, it's oddly fitting that Triangle of Sadness proves to be too much of a good thing.
Don't make us look bad, and don't give us shit to worry about. So we call you, you always got to answer the phone. And also when you show up on the set, you represent us. So, you're not whiny, you're not bitchy, and no drama.
Devoid of hyperbole, fear-mongering, or salacious leering, Pleasure is a deft and daring balancing act. On the one hand, it's an affectionate and acutely empathetic look at acceptance and kinship amongst sex workers, each of whom must navigate the pitfalls and prejudices of a workplace rife with power imbalances and exploitation. On the other, it's a stern slap to the face about the importance of consent, not just in porn, but in any industry reliant on women but controlled by hideous men. All that being said, Pleasure's refusal to censor or soften the harsher aspects of the job never sees it succumb to moral panics or cavalier judgments. Writer-director Ninja Teiberg and lead actor Sophia Capel always ensure that every frame is instilled with a deeper, more respectful understanding of its subject matter. Adamant to show the banal and the beauty just as much as the crushing grind of the gig economy, because appearances only tell part of the story. Bella has agency, aspirations, and business acumen. Her intentions and goals are always her own. At least two of the year's most sweet and touching cinematic moments are found during the performance of acts so sexually explicit I can't even name them, whereas some of the most degrading, distressing footage I've ever seen is shot like a flatly lit screen test. Pleasure doesn't just flirt with notions of desire, bodily autonomy, consent, and open-minded attitudes to sex work. It strips them bare and demands we pay attention. Not since the ha-ha hilarious "oh no my feelings are hurt" 1-2 punch of Fleabag and I May Destroy You has an otherwise simple dramedy conceit given such a multifaceted, unflinching look at sex and love in the 21st century from a woman's perspective. Turbulent, traumatic, uproarious, and reflective, The Worst Person in the World doesn't have typically flawed heroes or predictably engaging villains. Instead, those played out archetypical cliches are subverted or outright dispensed with, leaving behind a cast of lovable, loathable, and absolutely relatable screw-ups. Forget about meet-cutes and monogamy. This has a piss-cute infidelity, people making good decisions for bad reasons, and bad decisions for worse reasons. At once seductively charming and casually cruel, Renate Reinsve gives a naked, naturalistic, and entirely uninhibited performance for the ages, finding that pocket of liminal space between late 20s abandon and getting your shit together, and using that identifiable uncertainty to articulate just how exhilarating and terrifying that period of life can be. A weighted blanket for those who've been overcritical of their most regrettable life choices, and a cold splash of water for anyone who never had the conviction to take personal responsibility. The Worst Person in the World is restless, romantic, and irresistibly honest. Breaking news from the edit. Having finalised my lists a few weeks back, I've had to jump back in and redo this video because a film that's very special just came along.
You think I wanted to leave my sisters, my mama, and my papa and go stick my stupid head in the mouth of lions?
Putting your head in a lion's mouth is art?
No, sticking your head in the mouth of lions was balls. Making sure the lion don't eat my head. That is art.
In his most personal, accomplished, and altogether best work since Munich, and the first he's had a hand in writing for over 20 years, Steven Spielberg combines the light bleed film grain haze of baby boomer nostalgia with a semi-autobiographical study of the moments that made him one of the most beloved storytellers of the last century. The Fablemans acts as a decoder ring for the thematic threads Spielberg has wrestled with for most of his career. The wonders of youth, a faithful pursuit that clashes with stuffed shirt normality, struggling mothers and emotionally unavailable fathers, Rather than a retread of old ground though, this feels like a fresh excavation into familiar territory. Only now we have the guide and the gear to truly delve into the meaning behind the magic this man has so often found in 24 frames a second. With every aching disappointment, traumatic bout of turbulence, stoic moment of understanding, and coming-of-age epiphany, there's a palpable sense that this is a true labour of love from a man who adores each one of these characters. Earnest but never schmaltzy, and moving without an ounce of manipulation, The Fablemans is proof in the power of cinema and the rarely surpassed skill of one of its most celebrated icons.
Stop running away from me like some fool of a moody schoolchild.
But you didn't say anything to me. You didn't do anything to me.
Well, that's what I was thinking, like.
I just don't like you no more.
An often farcical but incredibly tender rumination on the emotional vocabulary of men, the Banshees of Sharon opens up the searing wounds that nag and fester when hurt feelings go unattended. More than that though, this is a war film wherein no one fires a single shot. Just two people with the same background and core principles that diverge about what it means to live on after we die. One sees humble kindness as the way to a lasting legacy, the other thinks the forever after can only be found through bloody penance and graft. So ensues a conflict equal parts comedic and cataclysmic. Religion, masculinity, morality, Irish history, and the irreplaceable warmth of connection. Any one of those subjects would be enough to ponder and pull apart for a couple of hours. Martin McDonagh throws them all into a tragicomic stew at once, and not only finds a miraculous balance between guttural laughs and weeping lament, but in doing so, he's made his masterpiece. The perfect marriage between the idiosyncratic brogue of his plays and the up-close observation of the most vulnerable human expressions that can only be seized by a camera lens. Reuniting Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson after their inspired pairing for In Bruges, McDonagh pulls the absolute best from these two character actors, both of whom are currently on a streak of incredible roles that any thespian would kill for. While this should absolutely be seen as an ensemble effort, for which Kerry Condon and Barry Keoghan both deserve more flowery praise than I have time to give, in a just world, Farrell and Gleeson would be all but guaranteed every scrap of award season plaudits. Only time will tell if everyone here is suitably rewarded for such astonishing, impeccable contributions to their craft. For each wheezing chuckle, for every minute it gave me pause, for every elegant word and immaculate moment, The Banshees of Sharon is In Frame Out's Film of the Year. And there you have it, our top films of the year. Tune in next week for entries 5 through 1 of our worst films of 2022. Some Criterion Collection stocking stuffers for our Patreon producers Jennifer C, Claire MD, Beckio, Hales and Rue, Historically Dumb, Scared Confusion, Jake R, and Nicholas Revere, and a happy holidays to all these amazing folks who support us over on Patreon. How many of these did you manage to catch? Do you agree or disagree with our lists? And what are your personal picks for Film of the Year? Let us know in the comments, and make sure to do all that like, share, subscribe stuff. If you're in a position to do so, consider checking out our Patreon, where you can get membership to the In Frame Out Film Club, your name in the credits, and access to our private Discord. As always, thank you for watching. Until next time, this is In Frame Out.